Hello, my name is Samira Uleila. I am a researcher and media producer. I am working with TheNationalLotteryHeritageFund on a South Asian food heritage project. Today we are Tuesday the 8th of November. The time is 10:15. The location is Stratford, London. I am with Faiza Malek, who is our participant today. Thank you very much, Faiza, for being with us. Faiza, tell me about the first time you came to the UK, when and where?
First, thank you for inviting me to participate in your project. I'm Faiza Malik. I came from Malaysia in September 1972 as a student for special needs education at London University.
So tell me, what were the best memories about you coming to the UK for the first time?
To be honest, at the beginning, because it was September, the weather was starting to be gloomy, and I arrived at 7 o'clock in the evening. It was a bit dark, so it was not a very good impression. I said to myself, oh my God, this is London. Everybody craves to come to London, but it's so dark and dingy. I didn't have a good impression at all until the next morning when I woke up from the hotel at Victoria. I saw the bright sunshine and lots of people walking up and down, all the multiracial people walking along the street. I started to say, oh my God, what a big, big country, what a big, beautiful country.
What were the memories of food you tried here in the UK, and what did you eat at that time? And where did you shop for food?
Well, in Malaysia, we don't have certain fruits that we find in Europe. For example, kiwi, we have one, it's called chiku. Similar, it's sweet, whereas kiwi is a mix of sour and sweet. And then there are lots of grapes, and the grapes here are big size compared to the grapes in Malaysia. So like strawberry, we find here everywhere strawberry, and the smell is so beautiful. I like those fruits. Before I get into the classroom, I stop at the shop, bought some strawberries, some chocolates, tuck it in the handbag. I sit at the back of the class and I started eating. Everybody looking at me, the smell of the strawberry.
Tell me, Faiza, because I presume when you came in this country, about the availability of food, your kind of own food, country food. Was it hard for you to get ingredients from Malaysia to be able to cook Malaysian food here?
Yes, we use a lot of spices similar to those spices from India and other African countries. At the beginning, I found it difficult to get the shop that sells all the Asian ingredients. But slowly, those days I live in Brixton, so they were in the market, and also to find halal meat shop. There was one halal meat shop, and on both sides we found the shop that sells all the oriental spices.
No, Faiza, I got really intrigued by the fact of you mentioning about strawberries. Tell me more about the story of strawberries, because I presume, was it something new for you when you came here in the UK to eat strawberries?
Yeah, strawberry is rare. It's only we grow on the mountains in Malaysia, so we seldom go up to the mountain because it's cold. But here we find in the supermarket. And also lately I found that strawberry is the best fruit of our late Queen Elizabeth II. She likes strawberry very much with her dessert.
Now, Faiza, when you told me about you coming to the UK for the first time, what Did you come straight away to Newham? I mean, to eat ham, or did you go first to central London? What brought you to this area? What brought you to Newham?
When I first arrived, because the Malaysian government booked all the students to stay in hotels in Victoria, but my uncle, who was education attaché at Malaysian embassy at that time, he picked me up from the hotel and took me to his house in Kingsbury, North London. So I stayed with him for 6 months, and then later I found that it's quite far a distance to travel to London University from Kingsbury. I moved to Vauxhall, where I stayed with other students, the whole block full of students from Malaysia, but doing different subjects, law, accountancy, decoration, engineering, and all other subjects. So we stayed together. From from Vauxhall, after a year, I moved to Hackney because it was nearer to the university from Hackney as well. At Hackney, I stayed for a year, and I experienced first time the snow was at my doorsteps. It was in early 90s. It was a heavy snow in London. Then from Hackney, I moved to Ealing Road, Wembley, because in Hackney, they're all predominantly English people, the Cockney people, so Irish people. So I moved to Wembley on Ealing Road, where you find all the Asian shops, Asian spices, Asian food stalls, and Asian clothes stores and all that. So I lived in Ealing Road for a year, and then later I moved to Southall. So in Southall I stayed for 5 years. From Southall I moved to South Ealing. So I moved almost all the boroughs among the 32 boroughs in London. From Ealing I moved to Islington, because at that time I was made one of the panel members for the patchwork housing, community housing, and I was one of the panel to discuss what are the needs of disabled people for a new housing. And I was in Islington for 5 years, and I joined Hoxton Hall, I joined all the theatres, and learned studies for drama, especially for disabled people, and the course was at Highgate, and I got the City English certificate for drama. That was my starting point to go into drama. And then from Islington, I got a job at BBC. I stayed there for a year, and later I joined the London Disability Arts Forum as a cabaret organizer. So I organize cabaret in every borough once a month. So I have to look for the venue, accessible venue. I have to look for the artists, the singers, the jokers, the dramatists, all the artists. And I have to advertise, get all the disabled people together. And that's where I got in touch with deaf people very closely. And from there I moved to Ilford. I became a trainer for depressed ladies who work at Fort Motor, because they work too many hours that they become zombie. So we have to get back to their normal state of mind. And I was working with the London Borough of Redbridge for 5 years before I retired.
Wow, what an impressive achievement! You know London, well, I'm sure like your own pocket. Yeah, impressive.
I travel a lot, different boroughs. I joined different groups, Scope, GLAD, a few other voluntary and community groups.
That's very, very impressive. When you said you came to the UK, you were exposed to the Cockney culture. Tell me about what you thought about the British food. It must have been maybe a culture shock, I don't know.
Yes. as a student, because as international student, very often we get invitation from the tutors, from the lecturers, from friends. So we went to their house that weekend and spend the day at their farm, spend the day at their yard, spend the day going around the park, and we have their food. Baked potatoes, boiled potatoes, mashed potatoes with meat, with fish, with seafood. Oh, I love all those English food. They are not spicy.
So how, if you were to kind of qualify the British food, how would you qualify it to compare to Malaysian food?
Compared to Malaysian food, because Malaysian food, we have got Chinese food, we have got Indian food, and Indian food is very spicy until today. Chinese food only lately are spicy. Before they had lots of soups and very bland, just like the English food. But I like all of them. There's no problem for me eating English food, baked potatoes, jacket potatoes. I'm used to it.
So you became maybe accustomed to eating British food.
And very simple salad,
So at home, Paiza, did you mainly cook British food, or did you concentrate on making Malaysian food at home?
I cook different foods. Like on Monday, I make soup and vegetable. So my children like English food, and they prefer to prepare English food because they are simple. Like Asian food, we have to have all the spices together, we have all the ingredients together, and we have to go through a lot of process, cutting and blending and all that. Whereas English food is simple. They like English food. They are so used to burgers, fish and chips, chicken and chips.
So what was your favorite dish, and still now, that you are making at home, whether it's Malaysian or British?
English food, I like the potato salad. Just boil the baby potatoes mixed with beetroot, cucumber, celery, iceberg and all that, and put mayonnaise. That's it. Full meal, because with the baby potato there's a protein there already, and then I add up either grapes or avocado inside. And the Asian food, I normally cook chicken curry with potatoes, or fried fish, and nihari, the soup, paya, which is beautiful. We boil the bones for hours, and then we put the spices. It's just beautiful.
Vaizan, when I came for the first time into this country, gosh, by God, I came across some of the strangest British food, and I was like, how can I eat that? What was, in your experience, the strangest British food you ever tried?
Artichoke. We have never seen artichoke in Malaysia. We never find artichoke. But when I came here, my husband started cooking artichoke. I said, it looks like a big flower. What is it? Oh, just wait. He said, just boil and then you peel one petal that and bite it. That's artichoke. And rhubarb. We never cooked rhubarb before. When he made a dessert out of rhubarb, my God, first the rhubarb was sour, then when he put all the sugar and everything, it was very nice. So, and he does a lot of tarts, cream. So, I mean, there are different desserts compared to Malaysian or Asian desserts. We made desserts out of rice, out of just plain flour and sugar and coconut milk. Whereas UK, English food, there's no coconut milk at all. We put cream or milk.
So I suppose your husband, your spouse, is British.
Yes.
So did you ever try at home some fusion, like Malaysian and British and cooked like maybe a dish that was a fusional dish between the two?
I prepare a few dishes, so like my children will eat both the dishes. My husband will not eat certain things like when we, like chicken feet. We make soup out of chicken feet or fish head. The English will not like it. They don't even want to see it on the table.
Comes as a shock. What would be your favorite dish, Faisa, if you had to kind of rate one very, very nice dish?
I like the spaghetti.
Why do you like spaghetti?
One, because of the health, because I don't eat rice every day. I eat rice once a week. Then I have got pasta, potato, noodles. I change my food every day. So I like pasta. They cook so many ways, like with tuna, with egg, with seafood. So the way they prepare the pasta or spaghetti in different manner.
Did you cook for any people who came to visit you at home? By that, did you kind of like to cook for people, visitors who came to visit you at home?
Yeah, I often organize parties, small parties between 10 people or 20 people. I do cook for them when I invite them to my place, or when I join them for their meeting, we bring one dish each. So I'll bring the way we cook. The way we make bhajia is different from the way the Pakistani make the bhajia. We make the pasta different way from how the Indian make the pasta. They are more spicy compared to our pasta. So I prepare different types of food, different types of salad as well, just to introduce to them. Recently they said, "Oh my God, your salad is different." I said, "Yes, we put different ingredients and we put different spices."
Last question, Faisa, because you have been in this country for such a long time. Could you tell me if you have seen any kind of evolution from the first time you came to the UK to now in your cooking, food at home? So have you evolved in the ways of cooking at home?
Cooking. When I first came, I didn't know how to cook, to be honest, because I'm the only child. I was pampered, I was spoiled. And then when I got married, I had to learn to boil eggs, to boil potatoes, to boil sprouts and all that. And slowly I learned to appreciate the food, although like Brussels sprouts is a bit bitter, but eventually when you add with something else, it has become nicer. And I'm still learning, I'm no good at baking. So I'm just good at just frying and mixing liquids and all that. So I'm still learning, but my future in cooking, I think, I'm not very fussy in eating. So as I said, I eat out twice a week, so different restaurant, and I'm still learning from those dishes to find out what. Lately I went to a Bangladesh shop and they cook duck. It was very spicy. So I said I would try again. Or I would tell her, please roast me one duck.
Would you have learned any recipes from your mother back home?
When I was young, I used to watch my mom cooking. I used to watch her how she cut the fish, how she cleaned the fish, how she cut the spinach, how she washed the spinach to get rid of the sand. And I saw her frying onion, garlic and all that. And I saw her putting the masala and wait for a while, then put the tamarind water and wait till it simmer a little bit. Then when you put your chicken, fry it. I learned from watching, because I didn't do it myself, because my mom and dad said, don't go into the kitchen, you will fall down, because I was disabled, I couldn't stand properly.
Thank you very much, Faisa, for sharing all your experiences with us. Thank you.